Once upon a time, in a peaceful valley surrounded by tall mountains, there was a lush meadow where a flock of sheep lived under the watchful eye of their shepherd. The shepherd was kind and caring, always ensuring that the sheep were safe from harm. The sheep, in turn, were gentle and trusting, enjoying their carefree lives as they grazed on the sweet grass of the meadow. However, danger lurked in the dark forests that bordered the meadow. A cunning wolf, lean and hungry, watched the flock from the shadows. The wolf had tried many times to catch one of the sheep, but the shepherd and his loyal dog always thwarted his efforts. Frustrated and starving, the wolf devised a clever plan to outsmart the shepherd. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains and the sheep were herded into their pen, the wolf crept silently to the edge of the meadow. There, among the bushes, he found the fleece of a sheep that had recently been shorn. With great care, the wolf draped the fleece over his body, making sure to cover his sharp teeth and claws. He practiced walking like a sheep, mimicking their gentle bleats, until he was satisfied that he could pass as one of the flock. The next morning, the wolf, now disguised as a sheep, joined the flock as they were led out to the meadow. The sheep, who were accustomed to the presence of new members, welcomed the disguised wolf without suspicion. The shepherd, counting his sheep as they left the pen, noticed nothing amiss. The wolf's plan was working perfectly. For several days the wolf lived among the sheep, biding his time and waiting for the right moment to strike. He learned their habits, listened to their conversations, and even helped guide the younger lambs when they strayed too far. The sheep began to trust him, never realizing that their new companion was the very predator they feared. However, the shepherd was not easily fooled. He had noticed the arrival of this new, slightly larger sheep and observed that it was always a little distant from the others. The shepherd decided to keep a close eye on this peculiar sheep, suspecting something was amiss. One evening, as the shepherd led the flock back to their pen, he pretended to leave, but instead hid nearby to watch over his flock. The wolf, thinking the coast was clear, began to move differently, his sheep-like behavior dropping as he prepared to attack. He started to move toward one of the sheep, but his heavy steps were louder than he anticipated, causing the nearby sheep to stir. As the wolf moved in, his movements caused his disguise to shift slightly, exposing a bit of his dark fur. One of the older sheep noticed this and let out a loud bleat of alarm, causing the entire flock to suddenly look at the wolf. The wolf, realizing he had been noticed, panicked, and tried to fix his disguise, but it was too late. The shepherd, seeing his opportunity, swiftly moved out of his hiding place and approached the flock calmly. The sheep, recognizing their protector, immediately gathered around him. The wolf, now surrounded and with no way to escape, froze in place, trying desperately to blend back in. But the shepherd had seen enough. He slowly approached the wolf, who was trembling under the disguise. With a swift motion, the shepherd pulled off the fleece, revealing the wolf beneath. The sheep scattered in fear, but the shepherd remained calm, staring down at the wolf. "Your trickery ends here," the shepherd said firmly. "You have tried to deceive me and my flock, but now you must leave and never return." The wolf, defeated and humiliated, looked around at the flock that had once trusted him. With no choice left, he slunk away, his head low, disappearing into the forest, never to return to the meadow. The next morning, the flock was safe and sound, and the shepherd reinforced the pen to ensure no more intruders could enter. The sheep, having learned a valuable lesson about trust, returned to their peaceful lives, grazing under the watchful eyes of their shepherd. And so, the meadow remained a place of peace, with the sheep always remembering the lesson that not everyone who appears friendly can be trusted, and that vigilance and wisdom are their greatest protections.